I do want to open it up to our audience for questions, but my last question for you is that, this show has grossed billions of dollars, not millions, billions of dollars. It's one of the most successful entertainment properties ever. I think The Lion King just surpassed it by like $6.2 billion. Anyway, it's not too bad. But talk to me about what is the secret to this show's success? Is it the music? Is it the love story? Is it how Prince and Andrew Lloyd Webber and that incredible creative team behind it? What is the secret to its success in your mind?
I think for any show to be successful, I think all of those things that you mentioned have to be there and have to work. And I think that's one of the great things about this show is that everything works, and that's rare. And so when you have that, I think things last. And and when you break Phantom down, like how it can do so well, to its nuts and bolts, it's about love and redemption, and those two things are always going to sell. And with this neat package of the the opera house and the mystery and the ghost, it's bound to be successful. And then when you have such great music and it's legendary for a reason.
And I think everyone can relate to the trio. Like, it's such an interesting, everyone has something about them that they don't love, and so I think that the Phantom is such a interesting mixture of, you can watch him kill people and do all these crazy things, and at the end you still want him to get Christine. And that's something that I think is such an interesting dilemma for the audience to watch and reflect on things that they're dealing with in their own lives in a strange way, and they keep coming back and they keep coming back. And at this point, I've had people come up to me and say, I saw this when I was a child with my mother, and now I'm bringing my child. And so at this point now it's more of like a generational, I think, it's like going to a museum, not in an antiquated way, but in a, people want to share it and say, this was a big part of my childhood, or adolescence, or I went on my first date with your father, and so now I'm sharing it with you.
We hear that stuff all the time.
Yeah, so I think at this point too, story aside, which is amazing, music aside, which is amazing, it's also just becoming, it is its own sort of installation for New York. And I think if it were to close, people would just be like, what are we going to do now? What would New York do?
It's a staple. It's certainly a staple here.
As was mentioned, Phantom really doesn't have a weak link. Some people say, oh, well, the book is written really nicely, but the music is only so-so. The show itself is written really well, but the costumes and the set is a little lacking. But Phantom honestly doesn't have that. Everything is just so on point that everything's there. There is no weak link.